جيسيكا واتسون-ثورب رسامة انتقلت مع عائلتها للعيش بالحضارة العربية. اختبارات حياتها الشخصية ما كانت كلها حلوة، وبمحطة من حياتها الرسم كان ملجأها الوحيد لتتخطى صعوباتها.
Talent was never something I realized. Talent was something instinctive in me. As soon as I was born, I knew I was creative. So it was never a realization. As soon as I could walk, I was creating, I was making, I was doing things. I spent a lot of time with my grandmother and one of my aunts who was an artist. They were both artists, and they exposed me to a lot of mediums and a lot of different practices. I was really drawn to the wet mediums. I was drawn to paint with its sort of slickness. Also ink, I quite liked ink work. Whereas pastel, I found it too chalky. Drawing, I like line, but for me it doesn't give me enough. So I moved towards paint. When I studied at university, I went first to Adelaide and then to Sydney in Australia. That's where I'm from. You know, I studied all the fine arts, painting, drawing, sculpting, printmaking, all the different printmaking techniques. The colour came to me just before I went to university. I spent a year in Africa, and it was then that I found colour really hit me in the face, and I wanted to do more with colour in my work. And I just love it now. I love the way paint behaves. I love the way it feels. Whatever I use, knife, my hands, brushes, I love it. Most of my work is actually based on my experiences, and a lot of them have very deep meaning to me as a woman. Some of my work is based on my experiences as a wife. Some are to do with being a mother. So one piece in particular is all about my experience giving birth to my second daughter. It was about 8 years ago. I had a really close friend who passed away quite unexpectedly. I had to use my work to express myself through that time. It really helped me to get through it. Definitely being a woman, it has a huge impact on my work, huge. Two things I wanted to do in my life. One was to be an artist, and two was to have children. So when I had my children, this was my turning point. It was the point where things became serious for me. It was the point that I started to treat my work as a profession. It was a point where I had to think about schedules and someone else and how my work would fit in around some other people. I have 4 children, 2 girls and 2 boys. The girls both play piano. The other one is a very creative thinker, thinks outside the box all the time. The little boys, they're only 4. Hard to tell at the moment, but they love bashing away on the drums, you know, like all kids, building things and making things. My biggest influence, without a doubt, is Henry Matisse. I love him for his colour, and I love the way that at that time he broke out of the box with his cardboard cutouts. But I also like Patrick Heron for his use of line and the way he used texture in his work, and Howard Hodgkin prints, which I know some people criticise as being just for aesthetic reasons, but I love them. In the future, I just want to be doing what I'm doing now. So I want a balance between my family and my work. I'll devote more time to my work, sometimes I'll devote more time to my children. It's up and down, but basically as long as I can keep painting, I'm happy. It's extremely difficult. I break my day up. My mornings are work and a little bit of time for myself, exercise. My afternoons are purely the children. Creativity takes courage. Henry Matisse said that. I really believe in it. I expose myself every day with my work. I'm lucky that people seem to like it and appreciate it and buy it. I know so many creative people that have so much talent, and yet they're too scared to put themselves down, too scared to show their work, they're too scared to take that next step. So it takes a lot of courage to expose yourself. All of my work has a message. Some of it is a very deep meaning to me. It's about my life, my experiences, very, very personal. Some of it is about location and time and my experience in a place. I usually work in series and I usually cover one series over a few years. So it could be, for example, my Sand and Sea series, which is all based on the Middle Eastern landscapes. I've been doing for 8 years. 10 years ago, I was in love with the architecture. I was in love with the shapes. I was in love with the pattern. And I did a whole series of work purely on the sunset, the seascape, the architecture and the buildings of this region. I just love them, I'm passionate about them. Other series, for example, are about my intimate relationships. Sexual, they're quite bold. They are actually about curves and body parts in a woman's body and what her body can do about fertility. Other messages that I want to put across are on a little bit more of an abstract take. For example, when I have a client who comes to me with a commission, I want to put across a message that this artwork is about them. It's very personal to them. So I meet with them, talk to them about themselves, their life, their hobbies, their families, and I try and draw some of that into the piece. When they've got that in their home forever, it's always bringing them joy. It's always a connection for them. I also deliver a high quality product. My paint comes from the States and from Holland, my canvas from London, my papers from India. And I'm very fortunate that right here in Dubai on my doorstep I found a carpenter who makes my stretcher bars, which I stretch my canvas over because I usually make my own canvases. So my clients receive a fully handmade product. Quality and something personal is a very important message to me. The client relationship is very important. I'm a mother, I'm an artist, and above everything, I'm a woman.